my channel. Today I haven't really decided if this is gonna be like a one-off vlog or like an ongoing challenge. I think I want to make it an ongoing challenge, but that's like a lot to commit to. But basically, I've had a Goodreads account since 8th grade, 2015, which is basically 10 years of tracking my reading. So a while ago, I made a Storygraph challenge of all of the books that were still on my to-read list that I had added in 2015. And I made it in like February, I think. So, and then I think I added all the books that I'd read this year. So basically, in 2024, basically 10 years later, where am I in terms of reading these books? Clearly, I'm sure I've read some of them, but there were still 89 books it added to my to-read list that I had not read basically 10 years later, which is crazy. Like, that's that's a lot. I added just so many books, like literally so many of them were from the first day, because I created it in September. These are all from September through December of 2015. So we're not quite to 10 years, but we're getting there. So I am going to, as a way to motivate myself to read these books, well, first of all, I want to say I've already read 12 of those books this year. So we're no longer at 89, we're now at 77 books from this list that I still haven't read, which is so much better. But I'd love to get a couple more of them, maybe all of them eventually in the next couple years. So I've pulled aside some books from the list, some that I'm going to read right now, some that I will probably not read for a while, but I thought I'd let you know. So starting off, this is what got me to think about this. I currently have this book from the library, Stargirl. This is because I'm on the space team, the star team for Battle-a-thon, and it has the word star in the title. And so I thought I should get this. And so this is a middle grade. That was like a really big deal when I was in, I don't know, 8th grade. Clearly, I added it to my to read. But yeah, I think it's just like kind of general, inspirational, be yourself, middle grade kind of thing. So we'll see. But this I want to actually read in this video and in another video I'm doing as my first entry in this era. It's only 186 pages, so I really don't think it should take me that long. But yeah, I just want to get it off the list, and I'm interested enough to read it. I feel like at this point I have to at least try, and it's only 186 pages, so there's that. The other book that I need to read for various reasons this month is The Never-Ending Story. This is a lot more of a classic. It's from the, it's published in 79. It has a cute little note in it. A beloved classic. I wonder who put that there. That's cute. But yeah, I never read this book as a kid. I feel like it's so well known, and I just should. And so that's kind of the mini theme of this, is like books I should have read. Books I should have read a long time ago that I haven't. So let's read them now. And it's a lot chunkier, but it's not that long, and the pages are pretty big. It's only 396 pages. But I think it's supposed to be cool, kind of like, you know, reflecting on the nature of storytelling and stories and things. So these are the two I want to read in this installment of this challenge. But I thought I'd show you a couple others. This is kind of a sideways pick because some of the books on this list are the sequels to this book, which I have read. I've read it multiple times and I love it, but I haven't read in a while. So I thought I should restart the series. There are 2 sequels to this. I guess it's a trilogy, but they're all kind of mysteries. They're like kind of puzzly mysteries, which is one of my favorite subgenres as a kid, and thematically related to a book I just finished, so that's fun. And I just remember loving it and loving these characters and loving the puzzles. And then I think I also have another book by the same author, by Blue Bellier or Belliet, on the list as well. So I figured this would be a way to enable me to read more books from this list. So I will try to read all 3 of those soon in the next couple days. Some other books that I own that are on this list are Leviathan. I almost got rid of this recently, but then I was looking at the inside and it like looked really cool. This is like a young adult steampunk book. Where's some more illustrations? I swear there were more, but anyway. By Scott Westerfield, who wrote Uglies, which I really like. I remember really liking Uglies, which I just recently watched Carrie Can Read's video about Uglies. Like, some parts of that are really stuck in my brain, and I just feel like he's a pretty widely accepted like young adult. He's a solid author. So this is on that list, been on my to read since 2015. This is just like a cute little nonfiction, 52 Women Who Changed the World. I think I was probably given this in 2014 or 2015, which is why it got on my list, but why not read it? And this is one of those books that I probably don't want to read like too quickly, so I'll probably try to read it in little bits here and there. This is Stardust. Not my pumpkin. This is the version that's illustrated by Charles Vess. I watched this movie as a kid, but I never read the book, so this can kind of fit in the child I don't know how child-friendly it is. I remember being disturbed by some of the violence, but it's kind of got that fairy tale quality to it, and the illustrations are really beautiful, and I do love this story. Like, I have watched the movie since I was a kid, and I do really like it. And I just recently stole this from my parents. There's a big stack of comics that my mom like didn't really want, and I was like, I want to read like all of these. Anyway, and I brought this one with me. It's not really comics, but it was published by Vertigo, who is, I believe, a comic publisher, so this I would also like to read soon. And it's also pretty short, at least in this style, like just over 200 pages, so that's going in the pile. And then a couple of these are classics, and there are a lot of classics I don't own, but 2 classics I do own. And this I would like to read this year. We're gonna see if it happens. This is Anna Karenina. This is just a beautiful edition, which is why I got it. And I do want to love this. I really do. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna take me a year and a half to read it. It is like 800 pages. But we'll see. I read a 700-page book I finished earlier this month, so maybe I can make it work out. But we're not going to tackle that just yet. And then Watership Down, which is also a classic, though much more of a children's classic, I think. It's like about rabbits. Anyway, I believe this copy was gifted to me by my grandfather, who I now live very closely to. Oh, there's the rabbit. But we'll see. I've just never felt like I really wanted to read this book, so it might take me a while to commit to it. But yeah, so those are some books that have been on my TBR since 2015. Again, almost 9 years ago. And some that I'm gonna tackle pretty soon. I'm feeling the motivation. I'm feeling these are gonna give me bonus points. And I'm feeling these are from the library and I'll need to return them. And then a couple that, since I own, will probably stick around for a while longer. But, you know, I'm gonna start with Stargirl and we'll see how it goes. Alright, it's a couple hours later, the same day I filmed the intro to this, and I have finished Stargirl. I was like surprisingly touched by this. I did not think it would be this good. I was like almost crying at the end, which I did not expect. To be fair, it's been a little bit of an emotional day for me, so maybe I was a little bit predisposed to crying, but definitely really enjoyed this. Like 4.5 stars. And yeah, high school, middle school, it's tough. And so much of what we do every day is just societally constructed, so sometimes, you know, you want to dance in the rain and do weird stuff. Yeah. That makes more sense if you read this book, which, anyway, great to have another book done, and I'm definitely glad I read it. This didn't feel like, sometimes books that I've had on my TBR for years and years and years, I read them and I'm like, okay, like, wish I read that, wanted to put it on the list. But I mean, that's probably true of this, but I'm so glad I read it now, so yay. I hope this is even remotely the same angle as last time, but I'm back with an update on my reading books that have been on my TBR since 2015 video. I started The Neverending Story, which I had from the library last time when I introed this video. And I DNF'd it. I got about 125 pages in. I didn't hate it. I just felt like it was really boring a lot of the time. The stakes were not well established, and every time I got excited by a plot beat, I'd start the next chapter and then we wouldn't actually be doing that. And so I just decided I had a lot of other books on my plate and this was at the end of August, it's now the beginning of September. I had three, like, I think we had 4 books at the time, but I had 3 books I really wanted to finish by the end of the month, and originally The Neverending Story was one of them, but I just was not enjoying it enough. I will say, for some spoilers for anyone who cares, it was just like this epitomizing moment of like there were these 3 trials the main character had to go through. And I feel like often when there are those trials, and like even in a children's book, there's like a clever solution. There's like, ooh, there's this thing, there's this logic, maybe it's a word puzzle, maybe it's an inversion. And the solutions did end up being maybe a little bit clever because they got at this like meta book aspect, but the way they were introduced was like, the first trial is just like, there are sphinxes and they just vibe check you, I guess. They just decide if they want to let you through or not. And the second trial is there's a mirror and it shows you your true self. And I don't know, I guess like lots of people don't know what their true selves are and they get scared, so I guess it's just like kind of coin flip on that, on if your true self is a good person. And then the third one is a door with no handle, so I don't know, figure it out. It's just like that gives us nothing to play off of in terms of creating entertaining, clever solutions to these, like that's none of those 3 are anything fun to play with, even in a children's book. So anyway, I decided to DNF it. So that's that, but I do count that as completed. So now my challenge about reading all the books that have been on my TBR since 2015, I have completed 14 of those books, bringing me to 16%, which I believe I was at 12 last time. I feel pretty good about that. Next, I will probably be reading Dracula because that's on my TBR for this month. It's not on my official TBR. But this is my copy. My mom brought it for me when she was visiting. So I actually don't know if this is my copy or my parents' copy, but it was in my room. My parents brought it to me, so clearly they're okay with me holding on to it. But yeah, this is a cute little copy. I'm excited to read this book. I have read parts of it, but I don't think I've ever really tried to read the whole thing yet. But yeah, I think that'll be nice for the spooky season. So yeah. The other book from this challenge that I will probably be reading soon is this book, Aaliyah's Mission, Saving the Books of Enoch. This has obviously been on my TBR for a long time. It's just like a comic-y, picture-y book. So I've been trying to read like one of these per month. One of the shortest books on my TBR about every month, maybe 2 a month. Especially in September, there's like a little challenge on Storygraph that's like September shorts. Read all the short books in your TBR. And this is obviously one of the shortest books on my TBR. So yeah, I will be reading that too this month. So hopefully I'll have some updates for you soon. Hi, it's been a little while since my last update. It's now the 9th of September, and please ignore my horribly poofy bedtime hair. But some books that I'm working on that were not in the original video. One is Pride and Prejudice. For some reason, this didn't make it into the Storygraph challenge when I set it up, but this is a book that's been on my TBR since 2015, and I'm currently just about a third of the way through. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little update at this point. I definitely did start reading this last year when I first got my Kindle, I think, for a little bit, but I only got maybe 40 pages in. Now I am 130 pages in, and yeah, really enjoying it, really excited to keep reading, see how the relationships develop, and also to watch the adaptations. I feel like there's a lot of discourse about which adaptation is better. And I will be able to finally have an opinion, and also like all of the retellings and reimaginings. I feel like they're everywhere and some of them seem really fun. And then I just thought while I was sitting down and reading this evening, I'd knock off one of the super short books on my TBR for this month. So this is Aaliyah's Mission, Saving the Books of Enoch. This is like a kind of comic style picture book, and you know, books about books, and it's also been on my TBR since 2015. So I probably won't, maybe I'll update you once I finish it, but it won't take me very long. So anyway, that's where I'm at. 2 books down, 2 about to be in progress. Hello, I'm back to close out this episode of this challenge. So I am going to leave it in the middle of Pride and Prejudice. I haven't gotten much further since the last time I updated. I've just been prioritizing other things and haven't quite been in the mood to really sit down and read it with all the attention that I want to give it. But I did finish Aaliyah's Mission about 45 minutes after the last clip. I think it was an interesting story. It didn't really wow me in any way. I didn't love the art style. The plot was obviously very just like simplified for its audience, which is fine, but not my favorite as an adult reader. The cat is screaming to be let in. Okay, I've opened the door. He hears me talking and he wants to join. But yeah, it just didn't wow me in any way, but I'm glad I read it, and it was an interesting story. I guess my only thing that I was kind of annoyed by was that it's set in Iraq, right, like after the war is starting, and this woman is a librarian and she's like very fixated on getting the books out of the library, and it just wasn't really explained, like, wait, why? like I guess, what are you doing? I guess because then it explained that the library was like taken over by the military, that it would be more of a target than any other place, but it wasn't really clearly explained, like, wait, why is the place that you're moving the books to safer for the books? But it was, so I guess it all worked out. But anyway, and then in addition to Aaliyah's Mission, I did read Chasing Vermeer, which I did intro in the beginning of this video, which again is a reread, but 2 of its sequels are on this list of books. So finally I was able to reread that so that I feel like I can go into the next 2 knowing the world again, and I mean, I love that book. And it holds up. It's like a little more esoteric, or like kind of like, I don't believe in coincidences, but the kind of puzzles are really fun. The world is really fun. I mean, it's not like a fantasy, it's just set in Chicago in, I don't know, 2004, I guess. But the way it's described is really fun. It's set in the fall. I was just feeling it. It rains in the book and it was raining here, and I was just really enjoying that. So anyway, that is where I'm leaving off for this episode. So my next priorities are going to be Pride and Prejudice, probably Dracula, and maybe the next couple books in the Chasing Vermeer series, but I will keep you updated in the next one. So yeah, thanks for watching this. If I should make any changes to this format, or if you're interested in more videos like this, let me know, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.